closing in on tip-off here at Phillips Arena in Atlanta. East meets West. 12 of the best players from across the country on each roster, ready to square off against one another. Mike Cutt, considering Kentucky, Carolina, Duke, among others. He's on the reserves for the East squad.
Guys, I just want to give us some credit. We were able to.
They did a very good job yesterday of getting out into the scrimmage and competing against each other. And oftentimes when we look at these McDonald's All-American games and All-Star games in general, you see a lot of highlights, a lot of dunks and lobs. And of course,
Williamson with the rebound. Played well in the post. Straight up defense turns him away. Underneath, Barrett slams it home. RJ Barrett. Part of the #1 class, and Duke is bringing in the #1 class. 3 of the last.
In the country right now, all in the same recruiting class to go along with the best point guard in the country, Trey Jones, who gets his first basket here in the McDonald's game.
He'll catch the ball in the pinch post, turn, face, hits it with a reverse pivot. He had a variety of skills around the basket, and he's a premier player in an ISO situation like that.
And you see him operating in the pick and roll skill level.
And those are little things right there, like even coming off the screen, taking a second, not rushing it, bouncing back. I
know. You got to pause. And Darius Garland really starting to show off a lot more of his point guard play. That was one of the question marks about him, a tremendous shooter. But you see he's starting to become more of that point guard and playing the.
He isn't playing. He tore his ACL in January, but they expect him back for the start of the season.
And we also talked about a little bit yesterday how Darius Garland has become the lead recruiter for Vanderbilt. So those guys to come play with him in Nashville.
Garland had it in his hands, taken away by Cam Reddish on the break. Nobody with him. And he flips it up and in.
And that's my guy right. You watch all these guys at Duke next year. Pretty much positionless basketball for Coach K.
Reed to the basket.
And Jay, one of the most intriguing guys in this game would be Nasir Little, because you see his ability to put the ball on the floor and make plays. But at that size, his talent level is off the charts. Not in the greatest of shape coming into this game, in which a number of these guys have been off in their high school season for almost a month now. But you can see Will Wade is getting a gem at LSU.
Big shout out, speaking of LSU, to the Big Shaq. That video he put on the other day with LeBron down in Miami is Emmy-like. But he's speaking of great. Big shout out, speaking of LSU, to the Big Shaq. That video he put on the other day with LeBron down in Miami is Emmy-like, but
not just being a dunker to an all-around player.
Well, I believe that's one of the reasons why he went to Duke, is so that he doesn't have to carry the load for a team and do too much. As my man David McCormick operates very well on
plays in the next couple of years from Zion Williamson.
Jay, his athleticism overshadows his skill. Is a young man who has a very good handle. He puts the ball on the floor extremely well, makes the playing with a heavy heart. Lost his grandmother, Grandma Daisy, last Tuesday. And she was very influential in getting him on the basketball court. His mother, Janine, wasn't a big fan of basketball, but Grandma Daisy was a sophomore in high school.
I'll tell you who else needs to make a difference. I mean, Jahvon Quinerly is extremely talented. He's going to go and play at Villanova next year, but you have to find different ways to finish around the rim. So when you drive into the lane, instead of just going at full speed, just one heartbeat slows yourself down, and it gives you a chance to actually take a quick assessment of who's coming from which angle, where you can drop the pass off from, or how high of a floater you need to shoot over a guy like this. I'm saying when you beat him in the scoring title, that's pretty impressive.
You're absolutely right. And we see Sticks getting out in the break. Okay, Dave. Dave wasn't in the McDonald's All-American Dunk Contest, but he got a few style points early with the windmill.
Think what that does for Bill Self as well. It gives him that high-low post presence that he's used to playing with. When you think Silvio De Sousa, who was able to kind of come back early, and now David McCormick down low.
Now the lead that gives them a grip of Kansas next year.
Quinerly had space on the three. He missed it.
Good pass.
The bigs.
A great experience there.
Wait. There's something you're not telling me here. There's something you're hiding about why you went to LSU. Part of the reason. What is it?
I don't know. My girlfriend, she played a big part in it as well. So, yeah.
1999.
No.
Would you have taken a charge on Zion Williamson coming down?
I would have tried, or I would have fouled him.
Okay. I can respect
Here's my thing. I just want to see these kids compete. Like, that's the challenge for me. I know they're so talented. I know.
You see that play right there. Trey Jones, the communication with Quentin Grimes with a backdoor, easy players to come out of Jersey.
Yeah, we are. We holding tough.
Whoa, I want to talk about you.
Oh. You know, if you give Oak Hill Academy some more love on this broadcast, we're going to have a problem.
Lead guard. That's what I think Dick Vitale used to call us back in the day, lead guards, guys that led the team in scoring and everything else,
exactly.
And shot attempts. But, you know, that type of communication between he and Langford, right, I'm sorry, when you put Nasir Little beside him, you got a pretty good combination of players going to Carolina next year.
Yeah, Luke May will be back. Seventh Woods will be back. We'll see how they can play together.
Recruiting class, but now you see to replace those guys, you've got some special talent coming in, and then Rashawn Leakey Black, you know, they have him listed as a small forward, but you don't see much of that in college basketball. So you've got to get some guys that, of course, are going to stick around for a few years and be special when they're juniors and seniors.
So it's going to be interesting to see what type of impact his departure will have.
Back and forth we go. Quickly drops it off. A two-hand jam for Jalen Smith, who's going to
Williamson playing in the Mcdonald's game 5 years ago, and of course I'm not sure if he was even on the level that Nasir Little is right now, especially physically.
Dobson with the finger roll. Talking to Paul Biancardi, who was here yesterday, now in New York City for the Geico High School Nationals. He said Nasir Little and Jalen Smith, two of the guys who, from this point last year, he feels player in the country. Lob at the other end. Whoa! Nasir Little off the trampoline for the dunk.
You imagine him in transition next year for the Tar Heels?
Oh, and you know how much they love to play in transition, and you get guys pushing the basketball like Seventh Woods can, like Kobe White can.
Well, it's like a Theo Pinson. It's like a taller, more athletic Theo Pinson.
Years ago, we knew how good he was. But Malik Newman, as well as he's playing right now, it will be difficult to see him stick around. I mean, to think that he would stick around at Kansas this year. Quentin Grimes could go right in and try to pick up the slack for the Jayhawks next season.
RJ Barrett.
Hey, just by the way, I want to give a shot.
You played with in the NBA.
24-second shot clock.
And of course, no zones. And so when you think about, I think he can be, again, it's hard to imagine anyone being Westbrook, which Colin Sexton plays, I think gives him an opportunity to be at that level type of guy. And he, of course, is extremely athletic to give him a chance.
Brown showing off a nice left hand, one of three undeclared players in this game. He's the forward out of Roseville, California. Another guy who's uncommitted in this game is Romeo Langford, down to 3 schools for the guard out of New Orleans.
He's a guy that's really started to come into his own here recently.
Yeah, Romeo Langford, you talk about people have compared the hysteria in Indiana to that's a Damon Bailey back in the day.
Still the same 3 schools?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, Jay Will was just saying his fiance is an IU grad. So you got a little bit of pressure there.
I guess so, yes, sir.
So I was also told that if I could get you to smile, one college coach told me they'd give me $10. So I know you're pretty even keel here. Can you give me something? There we go. There we go. All right. I like it. I like it. All right. Have fun the rest of the game. All right, Mike.
Jeff, are you?
That could be a very special backcourt, just like we see a special athlete on the floor, Zion Williamson.
And this is not a knock to KU, because I think KU is a great school, but you would think how they are with all their transfers or some of the top recruiting class they have already.
And Quentin Grimes.
And Quentin Grimes. Is that an overload at a position for a guy like Romeo Langford, where maybe a Vandy or an Indiana would be better fits because of the opportunity to play more?
Well, you and I both made our decisions based upon where we could go in and have a success as a freshman. And so if you look at Romeo Langford, and not to say that interesting to see, Jay, we see some defense there by Keldon Johnson, and you talked about him and his motor, especially on the offensive end of the floor. One of the things on his list was to be the MVP of this game. It wasn't just to make it. He wanted to be the MVP. He wants to show that he's the best player in this game. And again, that's the type of...
Here comes Naz Reid, number 22 in the ESPN 100. And he finishes out in that gym who weren't players, were NBA scouts.
Well, and that's the thing, is what all they're looking to see is who's going to actually compete. All of these guys are special talent.
He's always hunting a shot, and he always gets lost in the game.
And that's one of the lost arts in this game, Jay. Having guys that are aggressive at all times. Right? Skilled now, and Keldon Johnson's one of those guys that has it.
Nice 3. Beautiful sound. And Langford running the floor again, drops it back for E.J. Montgomery, one of the 3 was committed there for about 2 years, and now considering the likes of Kentucky, North Carolina, and Duke, and saying this week that Vanderbilt, Wake Forest, and Georgetown.
He's a guy that can get after defensively one-on-one, is taking on the challenge.
Reid puts it up for Montgomery. Little tries the three, got it. Little with the lob, right hand finish for Keldon Johnson, number 6 player in the class. Jay, we were talking before we came on the air today. We were watching you in the 2006 McDonald's game. The jerseys there were huge and baggy.
So the Force did a really good job coaching these guys up over the week and really trying to get them to compete during the private sessions.
Well, you don't necessarily get to come here and be a coaching tactician, but it is a great honor to be selected, just one high school coach for each team out of the entire country.
It's a tremendous honor, not only for the coaches, but for the players as well. And the players should represent that honor by competing. And I'm going to play a game in front of the likes of the nation right now.
And when you and I talked to the guys yesterday before the scrimmage, one of the things that we asked them to do was kind of take lead from what we saw in the NBA All-Star game this year. And so, you know, from that standpoint, we wanted these guys to be able to come out and compete.
Take a back step, slow down, recognize which way Cam Reddish wanted him to drive, and utilize that to get to the free throw line. Goes to show you about the basketball IQ that RJ Barrett has.
Jeff?
You know, when Duke got Zion Williamson, it was a complete shock to everybody. Cam Reddish, I was thought Reddish, 2 guys that kind of played a position that he wants to play, which is partially on the perimeter. But now they've Reddish, 2 guys that kind of played a position that he wants to play, which is partially on the perimeter. But now they've got. There are plenty of people that think that Vandy is the leader for Romeo Langford. And now that group also going after E.J. Montgomery a little bit. And, you know, Garland's relationship with Langford is very strong. He can't get a great feel for Langford.
And give Bryce Drew credit really for what he's been able to do, you know, in Nashville thus far, and a very competitive Nashville. Watch out for Vanderbilt on the national landscape.
Just saw Reggie Perry knock down that 3. Reggie Perry going to Mississippi State. Outside shot, and it has great footwork down low.
And one thing you don't question with Reggie Perry, motor.
Yep,
motor and effort. He's got it.
Montgomery's turned a lot of people into his workout dummy.
First off, Mike,
playing in dress pants.
Mike, do not mention that monstrosity of basketball that was played on this court yesterday. Not long ago, Mike Budenholzer, my man Bud, who of course is the head coach here in this building. Bud was actually the video coordinator with the first answer.
I got the first answer.
But you know the point guards are the ones doing all the talking. That's why me and you are always over here battling for words. But
good actually getting a chance to see where you ultimately stood when you got a chance to go against those guys day-to-day competition.
Absolutely, Jay. And that's one of the things, of course, in the social media generation, these players know each other so well. And then you also consider the fact that many of them play USA basketball.
Zion stayed seated at the other end of the floor and is looking at his right.
You know, team up and say we're all going to go together to this school. You know, I was in the 1991 class where the Fab Five all decided to go to Michigan. But
so for me, just getting a chance to see how strong and how quick guys were up in the flesh was something that was different. But it was also good for me because it gave me more motivation after the game was over that I had to continue to work on my game. One of the things that I recognize is that I saw a lot of guys in my class that already felt like they had made it. They already felt like, well, let the attention get the best of them because they get caught up in that life of the attention. Other people understand that it's not about the attention. It's about I need to continue to work and build them. Do this move. You need to shoot the ball more. Why aren't you shooting the ball more? You start dealing with all these outside factors that start influencing how you play. When I don't think you really have to go through that when you're in high school because your games aren't nationally televised every single night.
The higher the level, sometimes the more distractions there are. Garland's been putting it up. Lob shots.
A beautiful feed from Darius Garland. All of his own set off.
Okay, cuz.
That'll be part of a quadruple header coming your way from Christ the King High. Reddish leads it. Little finishes. He's got 28, closing in 3 shy.
In the McDonald's All-American game coming to a close.
From the corner, 3-pointer is good for Reddish.
giving the West the basketball back with an opportunity to take a lead.
Good pass and good job utilizing the head fake right there by Brown.
But look at this right now, Jay. Keldon Johnson picking up RJ Barrett, taking on the challenge. 94 feet.
I'm climbing. I'm standing up right now. This is what you want to see.
Barrett to the rim.
Look at that.
Finishes with the right hand.
And Barrett up to the challenge.
Brown running the floor ahead of the field. Dunks with 2. Here's Barrett.
Oh, he got fouled.
No whistle. Reddish down the floor. Emphatic slam.
Only down fact that even though these guys are so good, so young, they have a lot of improvement.
Darius Garland's not made a bucket this entire game.
He pulls up from 3 off the front rim. And that does it. 131.